What's up, Michigan State fans? It's Jacob Kotzek here, back for another episode of the Michigan State Spartans Insider Podcast. This is now the podcast for Friday, March 27th, 2026. Sweet 16 game day here for Michigan State basketball. Three-seeded MSU going up against the two-seed, the UConn Huskies. Sweet 16, don't really need me to tell you the stakes any further than that. The winner goes on to face either one seed Duke or five seed St. John's in the Elite Eight. Recording this right here from my hotel room here in Washington, D.C. I just went to the arena today. Well, not today, on Thursday. Got to sit in the press conferences, talk to some players, kind of gauge the mood and everything. And again, the thing that always seems to be popping up is how have things changed since the exhibition game way back in October? Because you don't see too many rematches in the NCAA tournament. You try to avoid that type of thing from happening. You want to play newer teams. It makes the tournament, I think, a little more fair if you're playing new teams that you haven't seen before. In a way, you haven't played UConn in an official game before, so I guess that's kind of held up. But you see my point here. But again, Friday marks exactly 150 days since that game happened. In stores, UConn did win it 76-69. Again, I'm trying to remember most of it, but again, like UConn led that thing the whole way, but it wasn't the prettiest basketball game ever. There was like a billion fouls called. Uh, like Danny Hurley kind of talked about a couple of things he took away from that game during his press conference. He said like the blockouts on free throws were terrible. He didn't like their transition defense. So, and I'm trying to think of something. He had one other complaint about something, but it's Dan Hurley and Tom Izzo who are kind of mirror images of each other in a lot of different ways in the coaching realm. Again, hard nosed, more old school. Again, lots of success in this tournament. Again, Hurley technically more so with two titles, but again, Izzo has that longevity factor, which is why he's so well respected. Because again, 28 straight NCAA tournaments at one spot with one school really would be 29 if COVID never happened. Like that's really, really tough to do at the end of the day. Like Coach K has missed a tournament before while he was at Duke. Like it's hard to sustain that level of a team for so long. But getting into this matchup, I really do think the front courts of both of these teams are just going to be so critical because there's a lot of good players on the front court. And part of the reason I kind of think that is because I think the UConn front court kind of concerns me. This is a really, really good front court. And MSU, some of the best teams they've played this year has kind of been like the other team's front court has just kind of been slightly better than them in these big games. It was kind of that way with Duke, and they have Cam Boozer, who's probably going to be National Player of the Year. Michigan has probably the best front court in the country. Again, with Yaxel Lendeborg, Ade Mara, and Morez Johnson. And again, MSU hadn't been doing. Oh, well, in the second Michigan game, they were like Carson Cooper and Jackson Kohler were having good games. I think if you have something like that game, I think if they put that effort from that second Michigan game at Chrysler, and they just put it on the court in this Sweet 16 game, I think you probably win it more often than you don't. Will you? I don't know because I do remember watching that game. They lose it. I'm still kind of sitting there, and kind of Izzo reinforced it for me. It was like I thought that was like an A- game for them. Like it was like they played well that day, but you're playing at Michigan, and it's going to take more than an A- game to beat Michigan at Michigan. That's just the nature of the beast. Sometimes you play well and you lose. Sometimes there's been games where MSU has played bad, they've played poorly, and they've won, like that Ohio State game at home. Ohio State was shorthanded. MSU was just not clicking that day, but they still found a way to win the game. I'm sure there's some other games if you had me think back far enough in that way. But again, the front court's here. Again, super critical. Again, Terrace Reed for UConn runs the five, used to play for Michigan, if his name sounds familiar, for 2 years now. Second year now at UConn. Is on a per game basis. He's their top scorer at about 14 or 13 points per game. Again, really balanced scoring attack for UConn. That's another thing about them that they do well. But again, especially lately, Terrace Reed has been very good. 16 something points a game, 13 rebounds per game in the five postseason games that he's played. 31 and 27 against Furman. I mean, he's experienced. He's a senior after all. Uh, can throw a lot of weight around at you in a good way because he's just big, dude. You know, he's really really big. Like Cooper's, I don't know what Cooper's weight is compared to Reed, but Reed's a more muscular. Like Cooper's kind of a skinnier big. Reed's a muscular guy. So again, you can't give him so many post touches. You can't let him get on the offensive glass too much. He's coming in again on a streak of 8 straight games with at least 3 offensive rebounds. So again, got to keep him off the glass there. And that's kind of the non-negotiable for MSU. You have to win the rebounding battle. But again, the other guy you got to really watch out for, Alex Carabam. Again, matchup problem for MSU. I think you'll probably see Carabam plays the 4, but he doesn't really play like a power forward. He runs around on the perimeter a whole bunch. Like he'll shoot the 3 ball. He can do this. He can do that. Really, really athletic player. I think you'll see Cohen Carr on him for the bulk of it. But then you kind of like look around and okay, what do you do with Jackson Kohler? Because some of the other guys behind him, like Mullen, Solo Ball, Silas Demery, not really guys you feel super comfortable putting Kohler on. So I'm going to be very, very interested to see how they use Kohler in this game, kind of on the really just how do they defend Carabam. Again, I'm leaning towards they're probably going to use Kohler, and where do they put Kohler? Who's Kohler going to be guarding? So that's going to be something I'm looking out for in this game. But again, they still have really good guards though too. Again, Solo Ball, really really good. Silas Demery leads the not Big Ten, Big East in assists per game. The Mullins guy, a freshman. Personally, actually, I haven't watched enough UConn to really know too much about him. But he's a guy who, like, everything I hear about him is like he's gotten way better as the year has progressed. So again, you kind of see that with freshmen on these teams. Like Jordan Scott's he's kind of in a slump. But again, Jordan Scott's a better player than he was than he was at the beginning of the year. Cam Ward, I think, is a better player than he was at the beginning of the year. Again, like that Arkansas game, you still kind of want to see that out of him. But I still think as a more on a consistent basis, you're starting to see better stuff from Cam Ward out there on the court. As far as a prediction might go, I could flip the coin for heads or tails. I don't feel strongly either way. Like if you told me any score, like if I will kind of be surprised if this game is decided by more than 10 points. Like I just think it's going to be a close game. I admittedly I'm recording this on about Thursday night. I kind of just watched those Iowa, Nebraska, Texas, Purdue games. So like the Sweet 16 games have been close to this point as I'm recording this, but like I think this game has to be close. The metrics say it's a toss up. When I kind of look at the matchup, when I kind of look it down into the bits and pieces, I think it's going to be a toss up. So I think it's going to be a toss up. If I have to lean one way, I'm probably going to go UConn by like 3. But there's the confidence meter on that is like a 2 out of 10. If MSU wins this game, I won't blink. I'm not going to sit here and declare it a major upset for you. Like it would not be a major upset. MSU's been to the Elite Eight many times before. It's not. It's always a big deal, but it's not something that they're throwing. The burnt couch. The couches aren't going to be coming out to get burnt yet. You get to the Final Four, then you're going to see burnt couches at Cedar Village Apartments. But we'll worry about that if and when we get there. But for now, I mean, that's kind of just my thoughts on this game. Oh, that's the other thing. UConn fouls a lot among teams. I think they have the highest like free throw rate defensively in the Sweet 16 field. I think it was like one of the highest in the entire NCAA tournament field as well, especially among teams seeded as high. I think they're about like I think it was like the 4th highest. I have to look at it again, but like it was like top 5 in the NCAA tournament. And all the teams with a higher rate than them were like see like 12, 14, 15, and 16. So like among like teams as good as they are, they do foul a little bit. So you got to make your free throws in this game, and maybe you can try and get some guys into foul trouble. But that now kind of wraps up my thoughts on this game. But for now, there'll be plenty of written content coming your way. You can get all of our game day content at SpartanNation.com or at Michigan State Spartans on SI. Thank you, though. There'll be more content coming your way very, very soon. Hockey team is moving on to the regional final against Wisconsin. That is exciting news as well. Looking for their first Frozen Four since 2007. There will be content on whatever's going on. You can find it at SpartanNation.com or Michigan State Spartans on SI once again. But that is all for today. Once again, though, I'm Joe Kotzneka. I'll see you guys around.